Hey guys, we are once again discussing chapter 3. This is section 2, carbohydrates. Carbohydrates function as an energy source and as a structural building material in organelles. Carbohydrates contain carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen in a 1:2:1 ratio, meaning 1 carbon, 2 hydrogen, and 1 oxygen. They come in 3 major varieties: monosaccharides, meaning 1 sugar, disaccharides, meaning 2 sugars, and polysaccharides, meaning many sugars. A monosaccharide is a single sugar molecule. It's also called a simple sugar. It has a backbone of 3 to 7 carbon atoms. Examples of monosaccharides are glucose, like blood sugar, fructose, fruit sugar, and galactose. Hexose are 6 carbon sugars, 6 carbon atoms per monomer. Ribose and deoxyribose are sugars that are contained in nucleotides, which make up DNA, which is a molecule that we're going to talk about soon. They have 5 carbons in each sugar molecule. Here are different ways to write glucose molecules. Okay, this one is the most complex. You can see every single carbon is labeled 1 through 6. Here we have the same thing, but they are not numbered. Here we have another glucose, but the hydrogens and the hydroxides are left off, but you see that there is an oxygen here, and you can see the lines where the hydrogens and the hydroxides would be represented. And over here we have the most simple representation, where each corner here, each vertice represents a carbon, and it's just assumed that the oxygens and the hydrogens are there as well. Disaccharides are 2 sugars. A disaccharide contains 2 monosaccharides joined together by dehydration synthesis. Remember from the last section, that is when a water molecule is removed and 2 monomers are stuck or bonded together. Examples of disaccharides include lactose, which is milk sugar, which is made up of 1 galactose molecule and 1 glucose molecule. People that are lactose intolerant cannot break down this milk sugar, and it leads to digestive troubles. Sucrose, or table sugar, is composed of 1 glucose molecule bonded to 1 fructose molecule. Maltose is composed of 2 glucose molecules bonded together. And like I said above, lactose intolerant individuals lack the enzyme that breaks down lactose into galactose and glucose. So they are unable to break that 2 monosaccharide molecule down into its individual components, and it leads to intestinal distress. Here is the synthesis and degradation of maltose. All right, so we start out, we're going to bond them together. We're going to put this hydroxide together with this hydrogen. All right, so you can see here, the oxygen right here is what's holding these 2 monomers together, and we see a leftover water molecule right over here. So here is just a written description. Monosaccharide plus monosaccharide yields disaccharide plus water. So here's what the disaccharide looks like once it is formed. If we were to want to break it down, we would have to put a water molecule in. So that's what we're doing here. And we are going to send the reaction back the other way, where we have 2 individual monosaccharides. We have a glucose and a glucose, and they are no longer bonded together. So dehydration reactions and hydrolysis are simply the opposite of each other. Polysaccharides, energy storage and structural molecules, A polysaccharide is a polymer of monosaccharides. Remember, poly means many, so it's lots and lots of those single sugar molecules bonded together. There's lots of examples. Starch provides energy storage in plants. Think about a potato. That is how the potato plant stores its energy. It makes lots and lots of starch granules, and they grow inside the potato, inside the root. Glycogen provides energy storage in animals, so this is how our bodies store energy. Cellulose is found in cell walls of plants. That's what gives lettuce its nice crunch whenever you bite into it. Celery as well. Cellulose is the most abundant organic molecule on Earth. They make up large portions of trees and the cell walls of lots and lots of algae. Okay, so most abundant organic molecule on Earth. Animals are unable to digest cellulose. So you might be wondering, Ferris, why is it important for me to eat my veggies if I can't actually break it down? Well, just because you can't break it down into its smallest pieces doesn't mean that your body doesn't need it. You need fiber in your diet to keep things moving the way that they should be. So it's important that you eat vegetables with lots of cellulose so that you can maintain a regular digestive schedule. Our next example is chitin. I know that this looks like chitin, but it's actually pronounced chitin, and it is found in cell walls of fungi, so they're part of mushrooms, and they are found in the exoskeleton of some animals, like crabs, like crawdads, basically all of your crustaceans, and a lot of insects. That's what makes beetles crunchy. That's why they have that hard protective outer layer. It's made up of chitin. And lastly, peptoglycan is found in the cell walls of bacteria, and that gives it structure and gives it a little bit more protection. The monomers of this peptoglycan contain amino acid chains as well. Here are some examples of polysaccharides. This first one is a potato, and if we were to look at it under a microscope, inside each potato cell, each one of those plant cells, you'll see large granules. These are starch granules, and they are made up of starch molecules, which is a sugar molecule bonded to a sugar molecule bonded to a sugar molecule bonded to a sugar molecule. Here we see a liver, and if we were to take a close-up look of that liver under a microscope, we would see these are glycogen molecules, which is a slightly different sugar bonded to a sugar, bonded to a sugar, bonded to a sugar, bonded to a sugar over and over and over and over again, and this is how we store our energy. Here we see a plant. This is cellulose. Okay, it is what makes up the plant cell wall and gives it that nice rigid shape. It is very strong, okay, and it is the most abundant biomolecule on the planet. That's all I have for you guys about starches. So if you have any questions, feel free to rewind the video, shoot me an email, or ask me about it in class tomorrow.